Are your Linux systems truly secure? Or are you still operating on outdated assumptions? Because the security landscape has shifted dramatically, and what worked even a few years ago could be leaving your systems vulnerable. What's up, guys? It's Josh here from KeepItTechie, back with another video. And today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about my own Linux security misconceptions. I'm talking about the myths I used to believe back when I first got started with Linux, and even years into running servers and home labs. I'll share what I thought back then, why I was wrong, and what's actually working today. But before we jump in, do me a quick favor. If you find videos like this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people discover the channel and join this journey of learning Linux and tech together. Let's get to it. Now, back when I first started using Linux, and I'm talking well over a decade ago, one of the first things I heard was Linux doesn't get viruses. That's a Windows problem. And for a long time, I believed that. I mean, I ran systems without thinking twice about malware. I would sometimes click on links and really didn't care where it was going. I thought being on Linux automatically made me invisible to attackers. But here's what I eventually learned. Linux isn't immune at all. Attackers go where the data is. And today, most servers on the internet are running Linux. I mean, malware families like Mara have taken over thousands of Linux systems through weak SSH passwords and unpatched software. Also, ransomware has started to target Linux, especially in enterprise environments. So what I've realized, security isn't about being virus proof. It's about minimizing your attack surface. And so one thing I started doing was running malware scans occasionally, and also checking the processes with the PS command, and pay more attention to what services I was exposing to the internet. Now, another myth I held for way too long: Linux doesn't need a firewall because it's secure by default. Yeah, I 100% thought if there are no running services, there's nothing to attack. And that was true until I actually started self-hosting. I mean, once I had SSH, web apps, and containers running in my home lab, I realized how dangerous it was to assume I didn't need a firewall. So tools like UFW and Firewall D aren't just for the enterprise systems. They're essential in home labs too. And so what I started doing was I locked down all the unnecessary ports. I created rules separating my IoT devices, separating them on a VLAN from my main LAN. I started logging blocked traffic. And honestly, I learned more about my own network by just reviewing those logs than I ever expected. Now, this one hits home for me. For years, I thought SSH is already encrypted, so I don't need to touch the config. Man, I couldn't have been more wrong. By default, SSH may be encrypted, but it often allows root login by default. It accepts password authentication by default, and it doesn't stop brute force attacks. So some of the things I figured out by hosting servers and having things in my home lab was to disable that root login. Also, set up and use key-based authentication. And that's very important. And another important tool I always talk about now is installing fail to ban. And this will monitor all the login attempts and block repeat offenders. And I remember the first time I checked my authentication logs and saw hundreds of failed SSH login attempts in a single day. I realized just how wrong I'd been. It's almost like as soon as you connect that server to the internet, people automatically find it and start trying to brute force the server. Now, for the longest time, I also thought I'm just running a home lab. Nobody's interested in hacking me. But attackers don't care if you're a Fortune 500 company or just a dude running a Plex server in his basement. They'll scan the entire internet looking for exposed ports. And if they can turn your server into a bot or mine crypto on your box, I'm telling you, they will. And I actually experienced this firsthand on one of my systems. This forced me to start taking my home lab just as serious as I do enterprise systems. For instance, like I said earlier, I started segmenting my network by using VLANs. I kept my IoT devices away from my main network and began treating every service I run as if it will be attacked. And that mindset shift alone made me way more careful about patching, backups, and monitoring. Now, another big one I used to believe, this is crazy: as long as I run updates, I'm secure. Now, don't get me wrong, updates are critical, but that's just the baseline. Real security is pretty much layered because updates won't stop misconfigurations. They also don't help if you're exposing an app you shouldn't. They also don't prevent weak passwords or phishing attacks. So I started layering defenses. Like, I started doing a lot more research on SE Linux, App Armor for mandatory access control, and using tools like Linus to audit configurations. Also, it took me down a path of looking into intrusion detection tools like Certifcation, which I run on my pfSense router at the moment. And then once I got into auditing and hardening, I realized updates were just the foundation and didn't cover the whole building. And then looking back, I think part of the reason I held these misconceptions was my mindset. I came from the Army where we had structured systems and a chain of command. Then as a database administrator or a systems admin, I worked in enterprises where the security team handled the firewalling and policies. So when I set up my own Linux systems, I carried some of that complacency with me. I figured the defaults were good enough. But running a home lab taught me responsibility. If something breaks, it's on me. And if something gets hacked, that's also on me. And that's actually part of why I created DistroTrust, which is that tool I showed you guys in a video a couple days ago. Because over time, I realized it's not just about how I configure my systems. It's also about whether I can trust the distro itself. And we've all seen new distros pop up, questionable origins or old ones that start shipping telemetry. So I built DistroTrust as a way to audit and score those Linux distributions, giving people technical evidence instead of relying on rumors or gut feeling. And that's me applying the same lessons I learned personally. Don't assume. Make sure you verify. So let's wrap this up with some practical takeaways. Don't assume Linux is secure by default. I mean, audit your configurations. Make sure you use a firewall. Even simple rules go a long way. And also harden SSH. Please turn off root login, use SSH keys, as well as add failed to ban. And I have videos for all of that in my library. So just search for them. Also start looking into segmentation of your network. Like for instance, the whole segmentation kind of started because of the privacy aspect. I wanted to keep all those home assisted type apps on a segmented network. And so I created a VLAN specifically for IoT devices. So I got one of those smart thermostats. I got the Google camera and a couple cameras around the house. So all that stuff segmented. And then also, the Google Chromecast? That thing is on a separate network. You know what I'm saying? But it still has access, and certain tools still have access depending on what services they provide. But then my main network with my servers and all the things I host, that's all on a separate LAN. And I also have a separate network for Homelab stuff. Now, one thing you need to do is think in layers. For instance, updates plus configs plus monitoring equals defense in depth. Now, one other key takeaway I want to give you guys is audit your distro. And it's not that I'm trying to promote my tool. I built it to help people. But DistroTrust can help you understand whether the foundation you're building on is trustworthy. And also stay curious. I mean, security is always evolving, which is why I do these security videos. And I also cover a lot of the hacks that happen in the news. And you'll start understanding that what was true 5 years ago might be obsolete today. And it will continue to keep moving forward. So here's my question for you. What security misconceptions did you used to believe? Go down and drop a comment down below. I love to hear your stories, and I'm sure other people watching will learn from them too. Now, if this video helped you rethink your own setup, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to KeepItTechie. It really helps the channel grow and keep me motivated to make more videos like this. Because trust me, it's tough trying to keep going with this. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today and letting me share my own Linux security journey. I mean, the truth is we all start with misconceptions. What matters is whether we challenge them, learn, and grow. This is Josh from KeepItTechie saying keep learning, keep building, and as always, keep it techie. Yo, what's up, y'all? Listen, if you've been sitting there thinking about making a move, let me tell you, tech is where it's at. I don't care where you're coming from, whether you've got a degree, a GED, or just pure hustle. there's room for you in this game. You see, tech is more than just keyboards and code. It's solving problems, creating opportunities, and building the future. You already have what it takes because tech doesn't care where you start. It cares where you're willing to go. You can teach yourself Linux, learn Python, break into cybersecurity, or even launch your own app. And the resources are out here for free. And yes, you heard me, free. Now, yeah, it's gonna take effort. You'll have to grind, but think about this. The time is gonna pass anyway. So why not invest it in a skill that'll change your life? I mean, tech doesn't just pay the bills, it opens doors to freedom, stability, and generational wealth. So stop doubting yourself, start small, stay consistent, and keep building. Because this isn't just a career, it's a movement. And guess what? You belong here. So let's get it, because the future is yours to build. Keep it techie.